does include a commitment to have U.S. nuclear-armed submarines visit South Korean ports.
John Wolfstall is an anti-nuclear activist. CBS News Brief. I'm Steve Kathan.
Rutherford Issues with Brian Barrett on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSradio.com.
Rutherford Issues powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. Looking to go solar? MTE's Pro Solar program is committed to educating members on the process and helping them achieve their renewable energy goals. Learn more at Pro Solar about Pro Solar at mte.com/Pro Solar. We're talking about the Beasley Animal Foundation and Clinic today. Dawn Roberts is joining us here this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning. It's been a while.
It has. It's been a little bit. And you've had a big event since the last time we talked.
We did, yes. We had Paws and Pearls, and it was super successful and a lot of fun.
Did it feel like normal? I know this last few years we've had COVID and changing dates and all that kind of thing. Did it feel like one of the first normal things, I guess, you've done?
Yeah, it was so nice to be back in the spring. So it was a sold-out event, and everyone had a great time. And so we're looking forward to the next one. It's I don't remember the date exactly, but it's 2024. But I don't have that on the top of my head.
That's your largest fundraiser. I think you have a couple, right?
Yes. Yeah, that is definitely our largest fundraiser. This was the 11th annual. We also have another fundraiser, Barks and Bourbon, and that happens in September.
Okay. Well, we'll look forward to that, and it all benefits the foundation, which keeps the clinic going and other things.
Correct. Yes. It helps keep the operation of the clinic going, and then we also do education where right now we're providing Guide News to fourth graders in Rutherford and Cannon County, as well as some of the city schools. It helps with our community outreach, where we provide dog and cat food to various organizations that do human drives. We have had a couple of distributions at our facility. We'll have another one in May. Details will be on our website and Facebook page for that anyone's needing food for their dogs or cats are welcome to come. And then we also give vaccination clinics to some senior centers, as well as those facing homelessness.
So I think maybe a lot of people are shocked to find out everything that you are doing.
Yeah,
you just think about the clinic, but there's a lot more than just that.
Absolutely, yeah. We try to focus on helping the community in a way that, to help keep pets, fed and help their humans and things like that.
Well, the clinic, how are things going there? I'm sure busy as ever.
Busy, yeah. Unfortunately, still search for a vet, and then we've had a couple of support staffing things that have come up. So we're making it. We just ask people to be patient. So
I guess that keeps you busy too.
It does, yes. Unfortunately, yes.
So before taking over as the executive director, what was it that you did there at the clinic?
Actually, I started out in the clinic. So,
that's what I thought. So
yeah, at the kind of a CSR, vet assistant, and things like that. And then Amanda started mentoring me to kind of when she had planned to retire. Mm-hmm. So we were kind of slowly going through that transition before the sudden passing of her. So.
Yeah, I still think about that. It was springtime, but while we miss her, I know that was kind of the plan, but I just couldn't remember exactly how you started, and so you obviously know the clinic side and can sympathize with staffing issues and things.
Absolutely, yeah, and I can step in and pretty much help wherever is needed. So, which I do frequently. So.
Well, that's awesome. We've got Dawn Roberts joining us today with the Beasley Animal Foundation and Clinic here, and we're going to kind of talk about something that is, you might think about it a little gross, maybe even, but something that our pets have to deal with, and that's parasites, right?
Right, yeah. And a lot of people start thinking about it now as the weather gets warmer, especially, down here. April was Heartworm Prevention Month, Awareness Month. So, we always like to, I think a couple months back, I kind of went into much more detail about heartworms, the cycle, and kind of what it does to the animal and things like that. But, April's just a kind of a nice reminder that, dogs really need to be on heartworm prevention year round. It's cheaper than getting the infection, and you can get a monthly oral tablet or pill, or full service vets do offer like the 6th or 12th month shot that they can get for prevention. But so once a year, it's just always good to kind of remind people about heartworms and how it really is something that all dogs, especially in Tennessee and the South, should be on. But it's kind of showing that it's showing up in all 50 states.
And you mentioned dogs, but cats too, right?
Yeah, cats can get heartworms, but it's definitely much harder to diagnose. And so, it's full service vet. Anyone that's a cat owner probably needs to discuss the risks and, chances of coming down with heartworms with their full service vet. But while a dog is a natural host for heartworms, a cat isn't. But but there is, we can't, there is cats can come down with heartworms, but it's just not nearly as common and harder to diagnose.
For dogs, I know that, for just give you an example of what we just went through, a month, our yearly kind of screening exam at the vet, and they did a heartworm test to make sure and, stay on the heartworm preventative year round. That's what they suggest, but you do the test, I guess, just to make sure things are still okay. Right.
Yeah. The test is required annually, just to make sure that, the preventative is doing what it's doing. And if you miss one dose, at that point in time, your animal can be infected. So, the American Heartworm Association and most vets follow that it's recommended a heartworm test every year, every 12 months, and then you can get another 12 months worth of prescription for the preventative, as well as have an exam, because it is prescription medication.
Yeah, and if you think, gosh, I don't want to give my dog a pill each month or whatnot, our dogs take those little chews, and they think it's just like a treat.
Right.
So.
There's oral options, and then like I said, a lot of full service vets offer injectable preventative.
We have Dawn Roberts joining us here with the Beasley Animal Clinic and Beasley Animal Foundation. Now, you mentioned just a second ago heartworms in all 50 states, and mosquitoes. It's a year-round preventative. I've been bitten by a mosquito in December, so they're here all the time. It seems.
Yeah, especially in the South and the warmer, more humid areas. But the American Heartworm Society just released a very current survey in 2023 and said that there is while Tennessee is still one of the top states, they did prevalence of heartworm kind of expanded in some of the areas in our state, but it also kind of expanded in states that necessarily haven't been high risk, such like Washington, Oregon, Connecticut. So it's why it's recommended that dogs, no matter where you are, you should have them on heartworm prevention, because while we don't know what the reasoning is for these numbers and these intakes of heartworm numbers, a lot of people travel with their dogs now. So if somebody's traveling with their heartworm positive dog and doesn't realize it, a mosquito bites that heartworm positive dog, and then it can pass it on. So it's just something that everyone needs to be concerned about.
So the mosquito is the carrier from animal to animal.
Yes.
So we're talking about parasites, and so heartworm, that's one that kind of automatically comes. If you've had dogs and you live in Tennessee, you know that your veterinarian talks about heartworms all the time. Make sure you have that test. But there are others, and one that I'm thinking of is fleas and ticks too, because you can even get the heartworm medication and a flea and tick preventative in one dose.
Correct.
There's some of those too.
Right. Yeah. So that kind of helps people stay in compliance. Really, I was picking ticks off of my horses and dogs in January. So it really. We really don't get cold enough to even kill fleas and ticks at all the time. So, that's something that, everyone, thinks about fleas and ticks this time of year and the creepy crawlies and stuff. But, it's something that really should be considered year round. Fleas, and if your dog has fleas, it's important to treat your dog, but also you need to treat the area around it, the, bedding and everything like that. You gotta kind of just do all one kind of treatment just to kill the eggs and everything like that.
It's making me itchy right now just thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I have to admit that I've been on a kick of watching National Geographic Wild, and they have a lot of veterinary reality shows but the veterinarians are going around treating various animals. And this one in particular, and I didn't know this, but they were treating a rabbit for a really bad infestation of ear mites. And they were talking about how fleas can maybe cause that problem too, or you know,
it's just all kind of all related. Yeah. So I mean, if you got a clean environment and everything like that, it just kind of good immune system for your pet, healthy, it really does help kind of fight off all of those critters.
And fleas, I mean, if there's one, there's 1,000.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's, I mean, they multiply, and like I said, if you have a flea on your dog or cat, likelihood that they're bringing it in from outside, and you could have it inside, and then you just kind of have to, treat your inside bedding, furniture, everything like that, yard at all at one time to kind of really just kind of stop the cycle.
And flea and tick preventative is important, but if your dog has fleas or ticks and you notice them, which can happen even with a preventative if it's
right. Yeah, it's not 100% guarantee, but it does minimize it. Yes.
So what are some suggestions? What would folks need to do if they see that there are fleas or ticks on their dog or cat?
I mean, I would definitely, while there's a lot of over-the-counter products for this, I would definitely talk to their veterinarian, whether that's Beasley or their full-service vet. The full-service vet, knows the history of the animal and stuff, just to make sure that the product that they're using is not going to cause additional problems, that's not toxic to the animal or anything like that. So a lot of the products that come from veterinary clinics though are prescription, and there has to be an exam annually for prescription medication to be dispensed, just like with us, we have to be seen by a doctor in order for us to be dispensed prescription medication, and that's the same as your pet.
Yeah. I mentioned ear mites, and that's another problem that pets have to deal with. It may not be one of those that's first and foremost on the mind, but if your dog or cat, or even the bunny like I saw on that show, if scratching, that kind of thing, that's a problem.
Yeah. If your dog or cat is really just obsessed with scratching and shaking its head and things like that, then that's definitely something that you need to go and get, an ear culture and scraping and kind of see cytology to see if that's indeed what the problem is. And then, they can be treated, but they can pass from pet to pet. So
heartworms, fleas, ticks, ear mites, those are the big parasites that we think about here in our area, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because, I mean, it's first and foremost, you hate to have a flea on you and a tick on you, and so you want to. And humans can, ticks carry Lyme disease. So if you can get them off of your pet and kill them and stuff, they won't get on you. But yeah, ticks can cause Lyme disease for humans as well.
Are there diseases that dogs and cats can get from fleas and ticks?
Oh yeah. So when you get your annual heartworm test for dogs, we also test for 3 tick-borne diseases as well. So that's Anaplasma, Ehrlichia, and Lyme disease.
Okay.
So the annual heartworm test also kind of gives you an indication of, you want a negative heartworm test, but it also shows whether or not they've been exposed or coming down with one of those tick-borne diseases.
I learned something new today. And Lyme disease can affect dogs too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, very good. And I guess with anything here that we've talked about, just underscore the importance of flea and tick preventative and heartworm preventative are really kind of a must if you live in Tennessee.
Right, yeah. And just keeping the conversation open with your veterinarian, and just, they know the animal, they know the lifestyle, and, they can make sure that you get prescribed the right product that's not going to cause any further issues for them.
Well, Dawn, anything else we need to know about before our time gets away?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that if you have nothing to do this Saturday, Beasley will be at Bark in the Burrow. It's at outside the Student Union on MTSU campus. There's going to be lots of vendors, rescues there. It's kind of just a nice event for dog lovers and pet lovers, and it should be a nice day.
Yeah, and where is that again now?
It's right outside the Student Union on the MTSU campus.
Okay.
Yeah, it starts from 10 to 4.
10 to 4, and I guess that's open to the community, not
Absolutely.
just college students.
Oh, yeah, it's open to anybody. Yep.
And can you bring your fur babies along?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, how about that?
Yeah, because it was scheduled for late fall last year, but we were having the canine influenza outbreak around here, so this is their postponed date. So, yeah.
I remember that. That was wild.
It was.
I mean,
yeah.
bark parks and all that kind of thing.
Right.
You had to be
yeah.
really careful.
Yep. So luckily the weather is cooperating, and it's going to be quite a nice day for everyone to be out there.
Well, very good. Dawn, I appreciate you stopping in today.
Thank you for having me.
Dawn Roberts joining us with the Beasley Animal Foundation and Clinic today. You can find them online. We'll put a link to Beasley on our website as well in the podcast. And be sure to check the podcast if you missed part of our conversation today on our website and wherever you consume audio, whether it's Spotify, Google, Apple. We've got you covered in all those places. Hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time.
Greetings, friends. This is Lenny Farmer with the Jennings & Ayers Funeral Home in Murfreesboro. If you ever had to deal with